I want to use Chainsaw Man to create a better world. Makima.
Greetings, explorer. In the world of Chainsaw Man, where devils walk among humans, and the line between good and evil is blurred, Makima stands out as a figure of terrifying power, complex motivations, and chilling resolve. Before we dive deep into the character, this video will contain heavy spoilers for the whole story of the Chainsaw Man, at least for the part of manga that is available at the moment. If you have only watched anime or read the first arc of the manga, I strongly recommend you to keep this in mind, as it might heavily affect the experience of the story. But anyway, let's explore this lore today together. Makima is introduced as a high-ranking officer in the Public Safety Bureau, a government organization responsible for dealing with devil-related incidents. At first glance, she appears to be a calm, composed, and caring individual who takes Denji, the protagonist, under her wing. However, as the story progresses, it becomes clear that Makima is far from what she seems. She is, in fact, the Control Devil, a powerful entity that embodies the fear of control and domination. Her true nature and goals are slowly revealed, painting a picture of a character who is as enigmatic as she is dangerous. Makima's origins are shrouded in mystery as usual for such characters. As a devil, she is not born in the conventional sense, but rather comes into existence as a manifestation of human fears. The Control Devil's power is immense, and she has existed for an undeterminate amount of time, manipulating events and people to suit her needs. Despite her seemingly youthful appearance, around 20 years old, Makima possesses the wisdom and experience of someone who lived for centuries, if not longer. Her role in the story is essential. She serves as a mentor, a manipulator, and ultimately the primary antagonist. Her relationship with Denji, the chainsaw-wielding devil hunter, is central to the plot, as she uses him to further her own goals while simultaneously playing with his emotions and desires. And even if the style of the manga itself is trying to dilute the whole picture with all those comical dumps, it doesn't really help at the climax of the first arc, because the degree of dark stuff goes from 0 to 100 on a freaking speedrun. But anyway, let's move on. So on the surface, Makima presents herself as a kind and gentle woman. She is often seen smiling, speaking in a calm and soothing voice, and offering support to those around her. This facade allows her to gain the trust of others, making them more susceptible to her influence. However, this persona is nothing more than a mask carefully constructed to hide her true nature. Makima is a master manipulator, capable of bending others to her will with ease. She views people as nothing more than tools to be used and discarded when they are no longer useful. Her cold and calculating nature is revealed as the story progresses, particularly in her interactions with Denji. Despite initially appearing to care for him, it becomes clear that she sees him as little more than a pawn in her grand scheme. Of course, a huge role here plays the characters' archetypes around her. Denji and Aki are from the start presented as guys with clinically brain-dead strategies of "I can fix her" or I will do anything to get closer to her and get some attention, I guess. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing strange because of their traumatic background as kids, but my guess is that it was done deliberately to fit the general vibe of the story. And it is intricate to the very core idea about simple impulses that carry on most characters through life, just like with real people in our reality, but displayed in unique way of sarcastic caricature as the whole universe of Chainsaw Man. This became really clear in the latest chapters of the manga when Denji finally seems to oversee some real maturity, but it's totally another conversation. So Makima's ultimate goal is to create a world without fear, death, and suffering. However, her methods for achieving this utopia are ruthless and uncompromising. She believes that the end justifies the means, no matter how many lives are destroyed in the process. Her view of the world is starkly utilitarian, and she is willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her vision. Despite her cold demeanor, Makima is not entirely devoid of emotions. She harbors a deep admiration for Pochita, the Chainsaw Devil, and is possessed with the idea of controlling him. This obsession drives much of her actions throughout the story, as she seeks to break Denji's spirit and force Pochita to submit to her will. Her desire for control is all-consuming, and it ultimately leads to her downfall. Makima's physical prowess is obviously extraordinary because of her devilish origin. She possesses immense strength, her reflexes and agility are also exquisite, and as any devil, she can regenerate through the consumption of blood. She has been shown to use the powers of various devils, including the Angel Devil, the Future Devil, and the Snake Devil, among others. This ability to harness the strengths of others makes her an incredibly versatile and dangerous opponent. Regarding magic, or something that might be called as techniques, she can use some kind of invisible force to attack and basically splash her enemies with pinpoint accuracy. It was shown as if she was shooting invisible guns or something, and when she used sacrificed men to cast distant attacks. But with enough level of exaggeration, it can be assumed that she controls air or gravitation. We just don't exactly know how far her ability to control really can go. However, it is her exclusive devilish abilities that truly set her apart. Her primary power is control, which she can exert over anyone she considers to be of lesser rank. And it is really important to mention because it explains a lot about her personality in a nutshell. Another heavy spoilers ahead, so be wary. As a control devil, Makima sees anyone and everyone around her as a subordinate and puppets to be controlled. She can borrow the abilities of those under the control, further increasing her already vast power. It spreads also to using animals as her automatons for observation and intel collection. Furthermore, she has also demonstrated the ability to teleport using rats, making her nearly impossible to track or capture and creating the sense of some omnipotent being. However, it is also not explained if it does goes just for rats or other small creatures too. So the same story as with Invisible Force. It can be widely applied to some control of more abstract matters. And even this is not all. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of Makima's abilities is her contract with the Prime Minister of Japan. This contract ensures that any fatal attack inflicted upon her is transferred to a random citizen of Japan as an illness or ailment, effectively rendering her immortal. She has been killed multiple times throughout the series, only to stand up moments later. So yeah, there is no wonder that she perceives herself as some kind of special and looks down to everyone else. The Chainsaw Devil is the only entity that possesses the power to erase devils and their fears from existence while consuming them. And exactly this ability is the only reason Makima deals with Denji, seeing the power he wields as at least estimately equal to her own. Of course, it's nothing about Denji himself, but mostly about Pochita, who is the original piece of Chainsaw Devil. And that's the very point of the whole first arc. I don't want to spoil it anymore just so you can check it out yourself, but in my opinion the author masterfully displayed her motivation. What would the totalitarian tyrant be the most averse to? Correct, chaos. And our world, hell, devils, humans, and all the stuff that is happening is the ultimate embodiment of chaos itself. Makima wasn't shown as an entirely crazy person, without any joy in life and interactions. No, the opposite. She enjoyed living with her dogs exactly because they were predictable and susceptible to control, and generally did not mind it. They strive to be in her grasp, in fact. And it seems to me that through dogs we can see the exact picture of her worldview. Like anyone in her entire life was meant to either bend the knee or die. It is her nature which has drawn a thick, impenetrable line on the sand, distinguishing her and her means from anything alternative. This was further evaluated in the second arc, when Makima was reborn as Nayuta. Denji was trying to make her family she never had and share as much love as he can, so it could alternate her nature. Basically, it is the manifestation of the previously said "I can fix her." A pretty petty strategy for my taste, considering the whole background of the story. However, it is unclear how exactly it will go on, according to the last available chapters and events that happen there. But I think it is a usual practice for authors to leave such ideas to an audience, as it is one of the most favorable so-called redemption arcs of the character. But for me personally, even if I read the first arc about public safety a while ago, I still remember how freaking heartbreaking it felt in the end. At the moment, I was genuinely surprised that the story will go on, when it genuinely could be finished at a really high point. But now it has almost a complete second arc, and I'm not entirely sure if it can even closely be the first impression of the first one, just because of how truly malevolent the picture was drawn there. Drawn by no one else but Makima herself. Anyway, I tried to share my thoughts and impressions on the subject without being too spoilery and giving you the chance to experience the same bittersweet heartbreak I had at the time when I read the manga. With all this being said, hopefully now we understand much more about her. There are many more stories to come, but as usually, it's a conversation of another exploration. Thank you for watching, and see you, explorer.